Very good question.
There he is. Yay!
Hey, Mr. Roberts. How we doing? Good. Pull the chair over there.
Okay.
Mr. Roberts is our Director of Operations. Mrs. Gayhart is our Superintendent. Mr. Madden is our Assistant Superintendent. We just walked through the time frame. We talked a little bit about what we're looking, what will happen with the property. But we were getting some specifics about the demolition. One was the trees, and the gentleman had a question about the fence. Go ahead and ask him about the trees.
Well, there's some old, large trees on the property.
Okay.
As they go through, are they gonna plow that down or leave the trees?
You know, I would have to check the scope. I can, before you leave your time, if I can get your number, I can get back
I
with you.
wasn't the only one that asked.
Okay, yeah. At this point, I can't answer that one honestly because I don't know if that's in the scope. We never went and talked about the trees. We've been mainly just focusing on the building. But maybe we can get an email list or something, and I can communicate that to everybody here when I do get an answer on that. I'm sorry.
And then, did I understand you to say that the public sidewalks that are around Lincoln, that is going to stay?
But that will stay, yes. The sidewalks around Lincoln, and actually where the, like in the front, closest to us here, where it kind of dips in close to the building, we're going to create new sidewalk that connects that to make it a straight shot. Yeah, correct. Yeah, so that'll be, there'll be some new sidewalk added there to connect. Correct, yes.
I told them about the access, that we probably turn over to the city, and relocate to the tornado site.
Yes.
I'm confused about the tornado sign, because that's basically in my front yard, on Grant. You said that you were gonna sell to the city that piece of land from school and Grant that goes into the parking lot. That's what I understood you to say?
That's correct.
Okay, that's right where the siren's at, so if that's being sold to the city, why not leave it there? Why would you relocate it?
The tornado siren that we're talking about is actually inside the stadium fence. Yeah, it's inside the stadium fence, so that's got to be moved. And in talking to the city, you know, when you look at those things from a 20,000 feet view down, you know, they cover, you know, so much area. So it's not like we can take it and move it 2 blocks down, because then we're going to have some area that's not covered. So the easiest fix to that, and it was the city, you know, came to us with it, is, hey, you know, with that access road, if we can take it and move it from out inside the fence there by the football stadium and just, you know, put it on the road. And they're going to put some, you know, guardrails up and a dead end sign there, because that won't be able to use that anymore anyway.
So they're gonna keep it in that location?
Correct.
They're just gonna move it a few feet?
Yeah, it's going to be probably 20 feet. It's probably going to be moved like 20 feet.
Is it gonna be moved into those people's backyards that are on either side of that piece of?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be on the street that we.
That little
that little
alley, like.
Yep. Yep, a little side road. That is correct.
That's good, you're not gonna take over.
No.
They
We
wouldn't appreciate that.
don't want to do that either.
We had a question about the exterior
Okay,
fence.
the fence line goes along Grant Street and Jefferson. So
Green.
those one beats up the houses of the stadium there. Are you going to take down that fencing too? Or where, you know what I'm talking about? Because if you take down that fence, my dog is not gonna have it.
I'm not sure where you're at.
I live on Grant Street.
Which,
I'm
not from
almost
here,
right,
so-
okay, I'm almost by the billboard.
okay, so
Scoreboard.
like your backyard is up against
Yes.
there. I don't believe that fence is coming down.
Okay,
I don't believe that fence is coming down, but I will confirm that.
so you're just gonna cut it off at the end,
On the ends,
okay.
yes.
Alright,
What about the people in Jefferson?
Which one's
well, that would be.
Intersects Grant. The backside of the
Jefferson is
stadium,
where the
visitor
business
side.
seating would be on the football field.
Okay, yeah, I think that runs along behind the visitors bleachers there.
Right.
That, I believe that is coming down.
But why would that come down and the other not come down? But that's the backyard of people's homes. That's
Well, I must be
different.
thinking of the same, I'm a little, I don't know which one.
Disoriented?
Yeah,
Okay, so you're,
help me out here.
We have a
do you
map
remember
of
where the
the
bleachers
property.
were, the visitors bleachers
Yes,
were?
yes.
Okay, there's houses and apartments that are behind where the visitors bleachers used to be?
Okay, I don't, I'm trying to picture that.
Well, you never went to.
And then behind the.
No,
I think-
I did actually.
I think we probably just need to check with the company,
Yeah, I'm
with
gonna
the demo
yeah.
plans and find out for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah,
Because there's even fencing, right here along the park, well, down there.
down there.
Down there
Yeah.
along the parking lot on this end of the building,
Yeah.
so.
I think that's what
Grant
you're referring
and
to.
Right.
Jefferson, all
Right.
the way around, yeah.
Do we
I
have
see
like a
it.
sign-in sheet that we could write our names and addresses?
Yeah, one's coming around.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cause I will get that, I see that now, I see where those houses are now, I was disoriented there, just pulled it up. Yeah, let me check on that for you guys, the trees and the fences.
And then I did have one other question. Where the baseball fields, is that part of the property that belongs to the school? So they're gonna be losing their baseball fields, that's gonna be part of the block of land that we sold to a
Correct.
developer?
Yes.
So that's basically that whole thing.
Baseball field, stadium.
What about a YMCA coming in?
We have had conversations with the city about the YMCA, in terms of there's talk of YMCA, wanting a bigger property. The city owns the building that the YMCA is in now. Our understanding is, the last I've heard, is that the YMCA is looking to partner with Wright State University. I heard that fell through. Okay.
So the whole parking lot and everything will be gone.
Correct.
So it's just gonna be dirt.
Yeah, it'll be seeded, and,
It'll be dirt.
yeah, it'll be seeded, strong. We can get some grass growing there.
Did I understand you correctly that the YMCA is a possibility?
What we've heard is the YMCA is looking for a bigger place, so I don't know if they'll show interest in it.
Because, when I think about Kettering Rec is set in the middle of a little community, and that this would be similar, and I think it would be great for Mitman Park to have that, and there'd be a reason to come on the north side again, too.
Updated YMCA.
And that, yeah, the Y is
So
that
that,
big.
so that may be something to talk to the mayor about, that may be something to talk to city council people. I know at least one city council person that lives over there. I know Dan Kirkpatrick is, our mayor, is very approachable. And we will be meeting the city and economic development here very shortly. Talk about their role and how we can work with something positive that's.
So we're gonna get access to those minutes between you guys? So to see what's being planned and who the developers are?
If anything was public, would be, in terms of anything, we're just gonna have preliminary meetings with economic
Okay.
development first, so there would not be minutes of that, not really a public meeting.
Okay.
But if there's any action to be taken, it'll be public.
Okay.
And we pledge to keep the community informed, and does a very good job in terms of, we value the community that is out there. We value your input.
But what can we do as a community to make sure something more beneficial for us does go over there?
Again, you need to talk with the city. The city development is, once this
I-
property.
I understand who I need to talk to, but I'm asking your opinion, like, what is it that you could foresee, or something that could be maybe focused on, or just pass the burden to the next individual?
I'm picking on Mr. Steiner because he's a board member, but he's also a
Okay.
former city council person.
I'm on the planning board as well.
Okay,
So the process would be that a developer, whoever, comes forward and says, I like this property. The city, I think, will go out and say to people, hey, look what we've got over here. We've got 26 acres.
Yeah.
And this is what it looks like. Would you guys really like it? And the developers would come forward and say, maybe, maybe not. They'll go to the YMCA, they'll go to any other person who they look at and say, this would fit the needs of the community. And then that will be a conversation, which I suspect we will not be party to. That's kind of a private negotiation will go on. Because some developer may choose not to come, others says, I'm interested. It'd have to be up to them to say, oh, by the way, I'm really interested in this property, I mean, their call. And once
Thank
that's
you.
done,
Thank
once
you
that's
for,
done, then it would start this process of, they formally put something, a plan together, and then at that point, it probably become public knowledge.
thank you. That's more of
Is
what,
that-
that's more of the understanding I was trying to look for, is like, is there something that we could do, say, try, you know, something in that manner,
The
just,
city council members would be a starting point,
okay.
because they have influence over the city development. And at that point, they could say to that developer, the lady whose name escapes me right now, look, these are kind of things we like there. And she can start that, say, hey, Therese, Shell. And she would then say, hey, pick a developer here in town, go, hey, we really have this spot, what do you think? Yes, no, maybe. And all then the feelers go out, people come in, walk the property, go, love it, hate it.
At the end
That
of
help
the
a
day,
little bit?
I'm sorry, Mr. Steininger,
Okay.
at the end of the day, we are trying to be good neighbors and be mindful of the fact that this neighborhood has been very supportive of the school district throughout the years. And as a school, we don't just put a for sale sign in the front yard, like we have some parameters that we have to operate within because we are a school. But at the end of the day, we're gonna make decisions that are neighborly and that we don't wanna see anything that would have a negative impact on on this neighborhood come into that parcel of land. So we are being very mindful as we move forward in this process and not just making willy-nilly decisions or just trying to unload the land on whoever wants it. We're trying to be very, very mindful and very intentional.
A lot of people move to Beaver Creek because of the school system. Now we have these new buildings, maybe we can attract maybe some more of those people who are generally move to Beaver Creek. We're not going to do that with that housing.
Mr. Steininger, are planning board meetings open to the public?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and when are those?
They're on the second Tuesday of the month at 4 o'clock at City Hall.
Okay.
And their minutes are public, and the announcement for whatever comes before the planning board is made in the Fairborn Daily Herald, usually about 2 weeks in advance.
And if you don't get the Fairborn Daily Herald?
It's
Because
on the
most
city
people
On
don't.
the city website, yeah.
It's on the city website.
On the city website?
Yes.
But that's just
Okay.
public announcement.
Debbie, you got that?
Yes, ma'am.
And again, all the minutes are normally easily found.
Okay.
Just to let you know, in terms of the board, the school district made a commitment for something positive there. In terms of over the last few years, we have had people approach us about keeping that property up, buying part of it, tearing down part of it, keep a wing here, keep, in terms of it. We did not think leaving Baker up, you know, parts and parcels and maybe a not responsible entity taking it over. We did not want to leave an eyesore there. In terms of it, we made that commitment that we would demolish it and take it down.
That's kind of where my questioning came from, is just the kind of foresight of it all. I just remember that being the bigger part of the sale of all the schools, so
Yep.
just.
Park Hills, I talk about Park Hills, is our older high school, I call it Park Hills, so that way I can distinguish it. In terms of, once we get the middle school built, and that opens up in August of 2027, we will move our middle school from that building into the new building. The question then will remain of what will happen with Park Hills, and right now is, we're in a holding pattern on that. We want to see if we get a lot of more people move into Fairborn with all these new buildings we have, with the improvements that the city and the schools have made. So we're probably gonna hold on to that for a year or two. If we need an outlet to add a class or whatever, in terms of, or move part of it, we're gonna keep that as an outlet. In terms of, but probably in the next 5 years, decisions will be made on that. In terms of, it could be the same way, it could be demolished and up for sale, or it could be, you know, we've had great growth in Fairborn, and, you know, one of the things that I talked about when I came here is I talked about Fairborn as an investment, in terms of Fairborn is a good value and a good investment. And the property values in Fairborn have went up the highest of anywhere in Greene County. You have made a better investment in your properties than the properties in Bellbrook or Weaverford, percentage wise.
They're getting priced out. I mean, that's my neighborhood, and then the park has doubled in price almost just because any house that's under 200,000,
That's
Gone.
correct.
It's gone.
That's correct.
Sold quickly.
And when I studied the house sales, the houses like yours went up more than the $300,000 or $400,000 house.
and the property tax shows it.
It's increase in property values, so it hurts in taxes that you pay now, the way to build wealth for your family. So in terms of, it's a good thing, I know, in terms of they go up, taxes go up, but it's overall, it's a good thing. Better than the opposite.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm worried about, what's coming in.
Yep.
That's what, if it's going to counterproduce all that.
Yep.
And it sounds like that we'll have to be on the city as much as we are in the school in the meantime.
We've understood from people that school was a barrier, between your neighborhood and the neighborhood that's behind us. In terms of, and we hope whatever goes in there serves the same purpose.
Whoever moves in, they'll end up being a new shopping park. As far as their cars like they have ours.
I apologize, I do have to step out. Today is a very busy day. I had an interview for a pretty high profile position within the district that we're trying to hire, so I need to get to my next appointment. I'm leaving my business cards here, and I'm leaving Mr. Roberts, who's our director of business cards here. Please feel free to take one and reach out to us. We would be happy to answer any questions. If you feel like maybe a one-on-one meeting would be better, you came back and talked to us, where it's just you and I face to face, or you and Mr. Roberts face to face. We're certainly open to that. We want for you to feel like you're informed and comfortable as we move through this process.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm just thrilled at the turnout, and I'm so glad that you all have a vested interest in, what's going on. You're willing to give up your time to be here, so thank you.
I just want to add to that too, like, you guys stumped me tonight, and I don't like being stumped, so, no pun intended there with trees and the fence, but, I will get that information to you, I promise, and if you do not have email, or if you would rather have a direct phone call from me for that, just make sure your name, the sign-up sheet's still going around.
Amy's got it.
Yes.
Made it around
Rodney,
already.
Amy's got it. It went around and Amy has it. We're
See
good.
me, if you didn't get on that list, see me before you leave, and I'll write it down and make sure you get added to it, but, I will, we've been so focused on the building itself, like I didn't pay attention to the scope of work with the fence on the outside, so, and our architect, SHP, is really who kind of puts that scope together, and handle our bid process, and has that day-to-day communication with, with the demolition and recycle company, so. But I will get that to you. I apologize for not having that. I don't like being stumped. And you got me, yes you did, you got me, so we'll get it for you.
Let's ask a couple what-if questions. Demolition happens, they start knocking down walls and it's exposed. What should people do if they see kids going in there to play, or scrappers going in, or?
Yeah, it is a construction site.
Yep.
My first, especially if it's after hours on a weekend, call the police. Call the police, let them know. I will also communicate with our police department and make sure they're aware that that's gonna happen. That's what, the question came to us, and that's what we instructed them to do. You can also reach out, here to me as well, if you're seeing things. I can also talk to the contractors as well as the police department and let them know. Yes, sir.
To go along with that, I'm Joey from the Fairborn News.
Yep.
The bricks, like souvenir bricks, I saw there was a post that they're going to be located somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll make sure people don't get called in on getting souvenir bricks and think they're trying to trespass.
So they're going to put those out on Dayton Drive and Lincoln, right there on the far end away from us. Every day they'll be there by 10 o'clock. And if you show up one day to grab a souvenir brick and they're gone, they'll be there the next day by 10 o'clock. We're going to keep putting them out until people stop coming and getting them. So they'll be out there the whole time.
And will that be within the March 3rd to April 7th
it'll,
timeframe?
so when you see when the building starts to come down, as soon as they take the first swipe at it, that's when they'll start being out there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can tell you in a previous job of mine, we tore down a 100-year-old building, in its 100th year, we tore it down, and it's a school that I went to. I have 2 bricks from that building on one of my bookshelves at home as bookends. So I would, especially if you've been here resident your whole life and you attended there, I highly encourage you to get it. It is pretty cool when I look up in my bookshelf and there's 2 bricks from, Franklin Junior High, that I attended.
I just wanna make sure I can get in there. You know what I mean? I don't wanna.
Well, you won't have to
Miss
get
the
in there, because it's
chance.
gonna be on the
Yeah.
other side.
Well,
of
no,
there.
I mean, because I travel a lot, so
Yeah.
I wanna
Oh,
make sure
make sure
like
you
a
get one.
time frame-ish. So it may not happen until the beginning of April possibly at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, so the plan, and speaking with the contractor is so they kind of sectioned that building off because there's some double doors that do that. So they're abating a section, and then when they're done abating it, and they do all of their testing and everything they need to do, and then they're gonna move to the next part. They'll close off that double door, seal it off, and then they'll start to, tear down. I think they're gonna start back on the stadium side, and then the gymnasium, and then work their way down, and east will be the last part that comes down. So it's gonna happen kind of in sections like that. If you're out of town and you're traveling and you're worried about it, you might just call me and I'll go get you a couple bricks.
I have backups, but I just like
Okay,
to know I'm
yeah,
a planner.
if you need help with that, I can get you a couple bricks and hang on to them here. You just let us know.
Do that.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oh, beg your pardon, go ahead.
Sorry.
My pastor, Tim Hamilton, went to school there. He wanted me to ask a question. I don't know what you call it, the wall of honor or something, that they put the trophies on and pictures of the championships
Right.
and all that good stuff. He was in the 1966, one of the pictures, and he was just wondering what was going to happen to all that stuff.
So, and Pam, maybe you can touch on this a little bit. I started with the district in July, and everything was kind of out of there at that point. I know a bunch of stuff was taken out of there, memorial plaques, athletic, memorabilia and that kind of thing. We have it in storage right now.
Yes.
Okay, and we haven't, again, we're in the planning stages of that new middle school, so we haven't really had a drop decision on how we're going to utilize that stuff and show that stuff, in a memorial type of way. So, but we do have a lot of things out of there. What is out of there? Like I've seen the room and it's packed.
Yeah.
But
There's a room at Wright campus.
Correct.
Where all the plaques have been taken down. There was a gentleman from the class of 53 that
Yeah.
wanted to see was a plaque on the flagpole. His class donated it, so we still have it. But I think there's a lot of stuff at Wright, in a storage room that was taken down, like plaques, anything,
yes.
that would be similar to that.
Pam, do you wanna tell them about the kiosks over at the high school, and what we did with the Hall of Honor and the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, so, moving forward, so at the current Fairborn Middle School, which was Fairborn High School, we have the Hall of Honor plaques, which are in glass cabinets. And actually, we were starting to run out of room to put cabinets and plaques, and I'm gonna be honest, to have the person who built the cabinets, who's long gone, who did a phenomenal job. Anyway, a lot of the schools, we went and visited, and I forget the name of the school, Miami Trace, and they basically had a digital board. So it's a whiteboard like that, and basically we worked with a company and we uploaded all of the Hall of Honor information in there. So it's at the new high school, I can walk up to the board and I can put in Rodney Roberts, and Rodney's picture comes up for Hall of Honor, and all of his biographical information. You can search it by year, it's got their picture, and then they did the same thing with the Athletic Hall of Fame, which is relatively newer. I think it's maybe 10 years old. So, but there's 2 digital screens that have all the history in them. And actually, it's kind of cool because it's more user-friendly. You could also, if you're so inclined, go to a basketball game and click on the QR code and go into the basketball game and search from your phone. So it's kind of neat.
We've just started to run out of room and the ability to build those cabinets. So, and it's also saving money because now we give one plaque for Hall of Honor, not two, because it's digital. So you get your plaque, but then we digitize everything. So it really is really awesome, and I encourage you to go to the new high school. It's right outside the basketball arena, and it's super user-friendly. It's neat. It's on a beautiful wall. It's really nice.
How many people have been in our new high school? We highly encourage you to go into any of our buildings, the new high school, the new primary, the new intermediate are beautiful, and the middle school.
And I just want to say to all of you for your support over my lifetime in this community for the school district. You've always supported the schools, and it's greatly appreciated. So.
Any other questions?
You refers to earlier about recycling. So, like, someone has come forth and wanted to buy the gymnasium floors, or you hear things like that, like on those rubber shows. Are we doing anything like that? Or is everything just going in the landfills?
So I can tell you what. Again, I wasn't here when the building was cleaned out, but I can tell you through the bid process. One way that we were able to save the district so much money is that a lot of these companies will come in. They Mound Demolition and Recycling is the company that's doing this for us. So they'll come in and they all walk. We had a pre-bid meeting, so they all come in and they walk through the building. Mound figures in everything inside that building that they can recycle, and then what happens is if their number started out to demo that building, is that number's up here, let's just use round numbers at $2 million, and then they look at it and say, okay, well, we can recycle A, B, C, D, E, F, G, okay, then that lowers the price that we have to pay because they're looking at the recycle stuff inside the building where they can make money, so they charge us less for them to be able to win that bid. And that's exactly what happened, to be honest. And I'm just going to throw just some round numbers out there. We had roughly $3 to $3.5 million set aside for this project. Mound, the winning bid, was like $912,000. So because they had so much in that building they can recycle, they were able to throw a really low bid in that process. And I can tell you, we had 10 companies bid on it. The highest bid was $7 million, $9 million, $7 or $9 million. The average was 1.5 to 2 million. That was the average. We only have to. Our bid is $912,000. So we were able to save. So that little over $3 million that we had budgeted for it now comes back to us to put towards the middle school project, and it was a huge savings. So that's what's nice when those demo companies that have recycle companies that they're the same entity. They're able to give a low bid because they factor in that recycled stuff. So yes, there's a lot of things in there that are going to be recycled. All of that metal, copper, all of that stuff.
It'll save a lot if we all take bricks.
Yeah. You'll be surprised. And like I said, one of my previous districts, we did that, and they were gone every day. Every day we put bricks out, people came and got them. I know a guy that redid a small back patio. He pavered it, turned it into pavers. So he was coming and getting as many as he could carry every day. But that's what they're there for, and this community has paid for that building, and it's served a great purpose. It served a lot of kids, a lot of staff. So it should be a part of you guys moving forward, and you should have as much of that as we can give.
So I believe if someone's building a brick fence, they probably need a permit from the city.
Just to build the fence.
So, are they planning on like using water or anything to try to keep the dust down?
Yes, they will. They'll have a sprayer out there as they knock stuff down, especially as the temperatures get warmer and it gets windy. They'll have as they knock it down. The precision that they do it with, you'll be shocked. It's not like a big bowling ball that's going to crash into that building. It's a grabber. So they're pretty precise with it.
They were doing the concrete over in between the buildings today, and the dust was coming in the
Was it?
house.
Okay, all right. I'll touch, that's good to know. I'll touch base with, and again,
Shut the door.
stuff like that, that's when you call in, leave me a message, send me an email. Like I said, my cards are here, and those are things that I can help address for you. Yep.
Did you say the school system owns that piece of land across Dayton Drive?
There's a little sliver across Dayton Drive.
It butts up to the railroad tracks, yeah.
Yeah.
That piece of land?
It
At
was,
the end of Jefferson.
the school district owned it before, I think the road went in there.
Yeah.
Other side of the road.
Yep.
It's got those Enron signs in there.
Yeah, it's over with that new autism road recovery. place.
Yeah, and I think there's one of those companies that are on either side of that is interested in buying that. So one of those companies that are over there, I've not been a part of that conversation, but when we met with the city one day, down there, I know that somebody had inquired about it, and that one of those companies that were there are interested in buying that.
Probably the Trends landscape.
Could be, yeah.
They cleaned up that area pretty
I
good.
could talk to
Yeah,
them.
they have things.
Yep.
Yeah, that building there next to them, it's looking a lot better there,
Yes.
so hopefully
Yep.
going forward.
Right. Yeah, it was one of the companies that were right there, so I would assume that they would use it for, business that they have ongoing right there, right now, so.
Senior apartments might be an idea too.
I've talked to Amy about that. I work in Springfield, and then right next to where I work, where community hospital used to be, they built 55 and older condo places, and that place built faster than they could build them.
I could move over the fence.
Yeah, it's for the people who don't want to mow their lawn or anymore, I mean, that stuff.
Yeah, let your voice be heard.
We'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let the families have their homes.
So, I can try and reach out to find out who the contractor was on that. And maybe talk to the people. I work right next to it, so it's actually a pretty good neighborhood. We don't need a hood, we need a neighborhood.
I think, did you just give him his headline in the back there?
I won't steal it, I promise.
It
was a good one, though.
Just give them credit.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Tribute it to him.
That's how you stop yourself from getting in trouble.
I'm full of it too, that's my boss.
Any other questions? We appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Do we expect the same number of people at 6 o'clock, or?
I think you covered a lot of it.
What's the story about the board going? Are you going to remain here, or are you going to move over to Coleman for?
So as it is right now, is we'll remain here, okay? In terms of after we move out of Park Hills building, we could possibly move into the Park Hills building if we need it to use for enrollment. In terms of, that's the question, it'll probably be answered in 3 to 5 years. In terms of, it could be a possibility, let's say for at least 2 years, 3 years, we will be here. In terms of, folks, I've worked here for 7 years, I've only been in lockdown 1 time. So in terms of my previous district that I worked at, I was in lockdown in our board office probably at least once a year. So,
What does that mean?
I don't experience any problems from behind it, but I'm not here at night either, so, yes, like you guys are. Yep.
Lockdown.
Yep.
Is there anything we can do about that? I mean, I know you're not a city person, but.
So I've heard that the apartments behind us have been bought by somebody in terms of, and they're,
Is that over?
Over what? Like, a percentage of them, I believe, I heard the number 60%, but I'm not, don't hold me to that. Interesting.
Last I knew, they were managing it with the idea of making sure that they were better, and I wondered if they were wanting school property, to build. So that was just from the city council.
I would imagine the heat on that place has gone way up since they found that little 3-year-old in there that weighed like 16 pounds, but, yeah.
And it's not, I mean, it's not even at full capacity.
No.
It's pretty boarded up.
anything else? We appreciate you guys coming out.
Is this, meeting specifically about the demolition of the school.
Demolition and what the future use may be for that property.
I know, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about the property value, people coming back into Fairborn and all that. So I just had a comment about that.
Yep.
So, that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't live in Mitman Park, but, as the crow flies, I'm about half a mile away. So,
You're there.
yeah, I'm very close. And I've been hearing talk about grocery stores. Somebody wanting a grocery store that was close, just in town. So, I don't know who's aware. I know Mr. Steiner there is about the, proposed all-night truck stop that's going in, on the other end of Broad. It's a Wawa gas station, and it's the first truck stop that they've ever built. It's going in there. And I'm telling you, that would be a perfect place for a grocery store if you could find somebody inclined to build a grocery store. But anything would be better than a truck stop for our community. I mean, there's a lot of land up there that can be used for a lot of beneficial things for Fairborn. Instead of an all-night truck stop and another gas station, which would make 26 in the city limits of Fairborn.
Are you speaking of where, Mercy Health and all that is by
I
the,
know,
by the freeway?
back before you get to 675.
Before 675.
Corner of Spangler and.
They're gonna put a truck stop in there?
Well,
The thing is-
they are proposing to put a truck stop in there. It's the same company that tried to put one in over there at the other end of town about a year and a half ago. It got voted down, narrowly. So, but it wasn't a truck stop, it was just a regular Wawa gas station. And they doubled down and went to the other end of town. And wanted to put a truck stop in.
Well, we should try harder for the buses.
Yeah. What we want that traffic.
So, and, I mean, it's just going, it's just such a bad place because I don't know who uses that end of town to get to 675. A lot of people do because there's tons of traffic going through there. Now, you just picture a truck stop with 3 entry points coming in and off of Broad Street, and you're doing 60 mile an hour through there, because you get the feel you're out in the country. Once you pass waste management, you think the next thing you're gonna see is a cow. So it's like you're out in the country, and so what do? You go fast, I do. And so you got 3 separate entry and exit points coming out on Broad Street. If that thing gets built, there's gonna need to be an ambulance stay there 24/7.
We appreciate you giving up your time, coming out and talking to us. These are your schools, in terms of, if you ever have any questions about anything as it pertains to schools, we will answer them, or we will find the answers. Superintendent, all of our administrators are very responsive, in terms of these are your community schools. You have any questions? You have questions about finance?
out yet?
Give me a call.
He goes, I want 4.
Questions about operations? Give me a call.
And I'll expect an email from me tomorrow with that information you got to look.
Yeah.
I'll have that for you tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
Everybody with their email